Hello everyone.
Hello everyone. Indeed.
It's me, Henkka, with Damien from Colossal Order,
Artist, programmer,
and
mostly.
and we're gonna have a little stream on Twitch about modding in City Skylines. So stay tuned. So so let's start.
So, quick introduction to the modding tools in City Skylines. There are three major tools which you get to use to create your own content and your own gameplay and modifications. One of them is a map editor, which we are first going to focus on. We will run through the tools which are available on how to create a very cool looking map to level up with all the other cool looking map you can find on the workshop. And the asset editor is the second tool. It's the same thing than a map editor, but for assets, obviously. And we will also have a little look at this and have a couple of words about programming modding toward the end of the stream. We will be mostly focusing on the tools in-game today during that stream, however. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. Without further ado, I think we are gonna go to map editor first.
Yeah, I think we could get started.
Okay. City Skylines has a map editor, so
which you access from the main menu.
Yes.
In the tools section.
Yes. So it's here and here. And here you can select which theme you want to use. If you want to use the temperate, boreal, or Nordic, tropical, or European, you can choose which anyone you want. And we're gonna go with the moderate. What was it? Temperate.
Temperate.
Yeah,
yes.
temperate.
Because it's a good weather to demonstrate a map.
Indeed. So, where should we start?
From the beginning, let's go through the UI quickly and show, well, the map, the whole map, to show the area you can build and what is the goal in this editor. So,
of course, we have the entire map is the thing you can see, which is this entire area, and then the grid here represents the possible grids that you can select when you expand your city. And you go expanding your city one grid at a time. And yeah. And when you're building the map, you can this little bird here, the chirper, is going to help you keep in in mind all the things that you need to have a functioning map. So you can check this always to see that everything is in order. Don't mind about the camera standard here. I actually have the first person mod currently running, so don't mind about that. And on the corner we have a few different info views which are important when building the map or editing the terrain. We have the water flow, natural resources, wind speed, outside connections, and terrain height, which you can use at any time if you want. But now we don't have anything yet, so it doesn't show much. We have the speed control, which is a good tool when you're setting up the water simulation. And then we have the main tools are here located on the bottom of the screen. We have the terrain modification tools. We have the shift tool where you can push up the terrain or down if you want to create different terrain formations. We have the level tool, which you can use to, well, let's take a look at everything, shall we, and see what happens. So with the tools you have the brush size and brush strength here, and the size controls the tool size, and the strength controls how fast or how strongly that affects the land or the terrain. And you have a selection of different brushes here, which you can make more if you want to create more brushes, and you can then copy the brushes into this folder, which opens from the small
small folder icon that you can see in many places in the game. When you click it, it will open a Windows Explorer kind of thing, and you can always edit images in there, and the game will reload them, and then you can use this image further into the game. So in this case, you could create your own brush by overriding one of the existing one, or just copying and modifying it, and it will help to create different shapes on your map to ease your work while creating a topology for your terrain.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at the different modification tools we have. So the shift tool is your basic, where you can paint the terrain and have like different shapes coming out here, and of course you can use the different brushes to get different kinds of effects. Left mouse click pushes up, and right mouse click pushes down. Then the next one is the level tool, where you can pick the height that you want to level the terrain to. So if I say like I'm gonna want to have a 100-meter high plateau, so I'm gonna put 100 here. You can either type it or use the slider.
Or right click with the mouse button to take a sample under the mouse location on the terrain.
Yes, if I have like made something that I want to like level up more at the same height, then I can just click here and do it like this. So it's really easy that way, and you can of course change it and it will do different heights. The next one is the soften tool, which I'd say is more like when you're doing more like detailed work and you're finishing up the rough shapes. You can have the to use the soften tool here. You have two different types of soften. The left mouse button is a bit more
harsh.
Yeah, it's like I think yeah, and then the right mouse button is more like
soft.
Yeah, soft. Yeah.
That would be left mouse button is soft smoothing, and the right one is hard smoothing in this case.
Yeah.
So this is quite helpful for the polish, as Hanka pointed out.
Yeah. Then we have the slope tool, which might be let's say the most confusing tool for people before they know how to use it, because you can create very smooth slopes if you want in the game. And let's start by creating a bit higher plateau, maybe like this actually. So then I want to have like a smooth slope from on top of the plateau to the ground here. So what I do, I use the slope tool, then I maybe did a little bit smaller brush here, and I can either I select the target area and height I want by right clicking. So now you can see it picked up the 60 meter here, and now that I start drawing here towards the place I picked the height, it will start smoothing out and it will create this an awesomely smooth ramp here. And of course it works the other way also. If I click here and start here, it starts to draw it like this way.
So this tool is really important to use when creating water streams. Since the water is kind of physically simulated, it will go down the slopes, and it's good to have proper slopes so that the water doesn't stop at a weird place and start flooding the whole map, which is very easy to create if you're not very careful while editing the terrain heights.
Yeah. We might. Do you think we should show a little bit about the water movement with the slopes and stuff like that?
Yes, I think we could.
So let's create a couple of these different heights plateaus here. So one here, and maybe the last one here. So we can have a, let's see, put a little lake here. And then I'm gonna do another lake. I'm gonna do it small, get to it. And we can now create the slopes to get the water running. So let's see. I'm gonna pick this area here first, and then I'm gonna draw here like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a smaller brush. Okay, this is like super, and then I'm gonna put it like here and here. So we have the first, basically the first canal for the water. So I'm gonna put like a small water source here. But you can see that it starts to generate water. And
okay, so before we go further, you use the shortcut here very smoothly. If you press 3 on the keyboard, it's the same than putting the high-speed mod
yes.
into the game. So the simulation goes in high speed. So when working with water and you want to check out if it's gonna flood or if it's gonna settle properly, working with the fastest simulation speed is usually the best practice because you will not wait forever for the water to start stabilizing. So in this case, you can see that it's a lot more real time, so it allows to set up things so that it doesn't break your map when you start playing the game.
True. And usually the water will flow like forever from here, and it will eventually fill this lake at some point and overflow. And if you want to have these two lakes, but you don't want to have the overflow, you can put another water source here, and maybe put it a bit larger, because the water source not only generates water, but it also drains every excess water that goes like above the threshold that you see in the map here. So it should keep the water, when it stabilizes, it should keep the water from not overflowing.
And you have to be patient with the water. It takes a little while for the simulation to stabilize. And but if you have set the limits, like you can see that white plane at reasonable heights from the ground, it will eventually get in the shape you expected at the first place.
Yeah.
In the very worst case scenario, it could take a couple of minutes. It depends how large scale your map is. Like here, Hanka's actually the plane is really close to the height of the terrain.
Yeah.
So it will take a little bit longer to even out. But we can already start seeing that the water is not flowing as badly.
Yeah. And it's flowing here over here because I have a bit too shallow the shoreline.
Yeah, actually, this is a good place to show how would you fix that by deepening the.
That's true.
Like a good practice for this.
Yeah. So you should. It's an easy way to sort of fix like these kinds of things is to push a little bit back with the slope in the stream. So you can pick the zero level of the lake and with the level tool, and then push back a little bit here to make it a bit deeper, and then you can correct it by picking up the height with the slope tool here and then redrawing it a bit so it's a bit more smoother and doesn't like overflow that much. And now we can actually see that there's like better height difference between the river bed and the edges.
Okay, so in this scenario, the very important thing to remember is the water source are also water suction, in the sense that they will stabilize the water at the level specified. And that might not be very clear the first time you get to touch the tool, so we wanted to cover that up so that it will probably save some headache for a couple of you guys, so good to mention.
Yeah.
And could you select the water tool again? We could show At this point, Hanka just modified the topology of the terrain while the water was on top of it, which caused a lot of waves and a lot of mess. At this point, it might be that it becomes so messy that it will take even longer for the water to stabilize. In that case, there is that little button at the bottom left, which is reset water to sea level. That will restart the simulation, considering that there would be only the sea level, which is currently below the map, so that's why you don't see it. But now you can see the simulation from the beginning. You could put back the normal mode, so we can see. Yeah,
true.
So, and now it will not create as big of a mess.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. It sometimes is difficult, but in this case, it's going to work out.
So you can see that it's setting pretty nicely, quite fast now. So that's a little sort of tip for the using the water simulation.
Yeah, and another tip about that is when you just place your water, the map editor will detect the water is present in the starting tile, for example, and it will let you save the map and publish it so that you could go and play it. The thing to remember is if you have not waited for the water to stabilize, when you start your first game on that map, the water will continue its simulation in the state it was, and it might result in very unexpected water level rising and city flooding after a couple of minutes of playing. So map makers should make sure the water has stabilized for long enough before saving and publishing a map.
Yeah. So let it run long enough so that it looks okay.
And to check that, this is a good example to show the water view mode.
Yes.
So the water view mode shows little arrows which preview the direction of the flow of the water. So when these arrows are going all over the place in illogical directions, that means the water is still trying to stabilize. So you should wait a little bit longer. In this case, you can clearly see the current is going like we would expect. And at this point, this particular simulation we have on the screen is pretty much set to be used for a game, for example, if we had the rest of the map ready, of course.
Yeah. So you can usually see the where the water is going maybe a wrong direction is when you make multiple rivers which converge in one delta, and if one of the river like gets into the area first, it might actually start pushing the water back up the other rivers until the other river catches up and then stabilizes. So it doesn't mean that if it's like momentarily showing that it's like going uphill, it's just because it's still it's trying to find its way in the world. So yeah, that was that. That's all I have to say about that.
Drum roll.
Yes. Oh, you can also see it here because we put the reset water level. That because this area is, I think it's below the sea level, so it filled this also when we resetted it.
So yeah, actually in the toolbar at the bottom there is two icons. The one on the left is water source, and the one on the right is to adjust the sea level. So you can rise, lower it, and again, it will update quite quickly when you're in the fast speed. But as you can see here, there is a little wave, tidal wave, which started to go. And this one, if it needs to go through the map, will probably take a long time, like and tens of minutes.
And it might mess up the water flow momentarily because it might affect, like pushing back rivers up.
Yeah,
upstream.
Exactly. So at this point, if you see a huge wave going through the whole map, you should just reset the water level so that it will be a lot faster to get the simulation stabilized than if you would just wait for it to go through. Though it's fun to watch at the same time. So if you want to have some fun with the water, it's totally possible as well.
Yeah. Let's see. Now it doesn't show any movement here, but I think maybe the waves disappeared.
Well, you could lift.
Let's see.
Takes or actually just takes the terrain, lift it in one place, and it will create. So we can demo what we're talking about.
This one. Let's.
Okay, so now it's gonna push the water, and you can see currents as they go. So this is generally not a good thing to do just before saving your map.
Yeah, that's true.
But now if you would reset the water level, it would be nearly stabilized already. But you would have to wait for the little river that we have created to settle again.
Because this now also resetted, so and you can see here that the waves are going everywhere. So
yeah, but the reset button does not completely reset the simulation. It tries to match up the closest result given the changes which were done. So in this case, you could see the change was very big and there was still some water left in the area that we've risen. So that water got pushed away. So when that happened, you can multiple times use the reset water level. And after a couple of times, it will become a lot more steady. So that's a bit of a trial and error depending on how big the changes to the terrain you're making. And due to this, we recommend that you first work on the topology of your terrain, make it look as close to what you want it to be before starting to put water in there. Because if you have already water settled and you start editing the terrain topology, then it's going to take you a long time to get it reset in the shape you would like it to see.
yeah,
So the order of things would be to start creating the mountains, the flat areas, and design the areas which will be best for your gameplay. So where do you want the players to build your city and all these kind of things. And then once you have a good topology set up, you can start putting the water sources in the places you've allocated for them and iterate to test do they flow properly and so forth.
yeah, yeah. That what he said. I had something in mind, but now I completely lost what it was.
I probably just said it.
Probably, yeah. That's true. So what's next? I think I'm gonna push the water level a bit down here. So
yeah,
we're gonna have something for this. So now we have like. Don't worry about the texture changing because this is like the bottom of the lake or ocean texture, and it's gonna change back to the green grass
after a little while.
Yeah.
And you could notice also in the future the same behavior happens with the trees, that they will not survive in water, but when you remove the water, they will start growing properly again.
Yes.
With leaves and everything. And while you're still actually touching the water, let's show one more view mode, which is relevant for editing water, which would be the terrain heights.
Ah, yes.
So this is essentially showing the different level of the terrain, so you can guess where the slopes are, because with the perspective camera and the lighting in the editor, sometimes it can be difficult to perceive if some place is higher or lower than another one. So this view mode is designed to counter that problem, and it shows in purple gradients different steps, height steps, and so you can see if the gradient is even and going downward, like it's doing in this area that Hanka is showing, then the slope is going downward in the way you want. So it's a bit like in cartography, the different levels. Each line show a different height level. So yeah, I can't remember. I think they were a meter and a half high or something. I can't. I should be sure, but yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting view mode when creating the terrain before the water is in place, so you can predict where the water will be flowing at certain level.
Indeed. Let's see, and now you can see the green grass is back.
Yeah.
Also, so then what's next on the should we have some with resources and
let's cover the resources and then show the height maps.
Yes.
Afterward.
Yes.
So,
I think
now we have a test maps. It's perfect to actually demonstrate.
Yeah. Yes. Oh right. Now I remember what I had in mind. It was that even though it's usually awesome to create like terrains with some terrain generator and whatnot, but remember that it's always a good thing to keep the play area relatively flat at least so that it's nice to play on it, so that everything isn't like always like changing terrain height, because it might look ridiculous.
It will look rather funny and unrealistic if you try to build on the maximum slope limits that we allow.
Yeah,
So it's part of a good map design to keep in mind areas which are meant for growing the city in different ways. Of course, having a large flat terrain does not mean the player must build the highest density
yeah,
buildings that are available in the game. It's still entirely up to the player where he wants to build them. But giving enough freedom for the player to place his city the way he wants is key to a good map design.
yeah,
So when you create your map, keep that in mind at all time. Um, this may sometimes not look the most pretty to flatten an area, which should be a bit more slopey.
yeah,
But it is a game, and the gameplay is really important. And part of the gameplay relies on the fact that you can build on a relatively flat surface.
yeah.
So
That's
if you
true.
keep that at all in mind at all time, you will most likely have higher quality maps that player will enjoy spending time on a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. So onto the let's see now onto the resources. So in City Skylines we have 4 different resources. 3 you can see here: the ore, oil, and fertile land, and then we have the forests. So when you're creating the map, you can.
Briefly before going there, would you mind explaining for the players who may not have yet used those resources in game, what is the purpose for the resources?
Yes, yes, of course.
It could be
so-
relevant.
So yeah, the resources. When you have resources in the map, you can uh, take advantage of the resources by zoning industry over the resources. You can see them on the map, and if you might not see some of the resources clear enough, you can always check the natural resources info view. When you zone industry, you can then create a district and then assign industrial specialization for that district. So if you, let's say, if you have ore on the starting tile here, you could like have ore industry working, which would then create more tax revenue for you, but also be a bit more polluting. So it's always a bit of like a give something and take something kind of gameplay mechanic there. You get a bit better, some more money, but then there's a downside. And all these industrial specializations work through the districts in the game. And once the district options open up, when you advance in the city, you can then start creating them and then assigning the different industrial specializations for the districts. And then you can see as the generic industry starts to transform into the industry that you selected for the district. And if there is no natural resource on the map at that point, or in that area where you zone, it will still create the specialized industry, but it will only create the processing plants and not the extractors that usually take the ore out of the ground, or the oil, or agriculture farms and stuff like that. Yeah.
That sounds good.
So
back to the resources.
Yes. So we have the 4 resources, and you can paint the resources anywhere on the map, but of course the you don't want to go over this area unless you have like certain modifications that allow you more tiles. But it's easy. You can paint them anywhere you want. The mouse left button paints, and mouse right button erases there. And you can also use all of these all of the different brushes if you want to paint them, and you can select the brush strength and the brush size also, and they work for every one of these industries. And as you can see there's the fertile land, there's the oil, ore, and we have the now that we are in the temperate, we have these the tree choices here, so we can paint the trees also like this. And now that we have the different resources here, we can check them on the info view, and you can see them more clearly now here, where each of them is located on the map. So there are the trees, the fertile land, the oil, and the ore. Yes. So.
All right, and one more thing about it, the winds.
The
that
wind.
is relevant for wind power mostly.
Yes.
Well, actually, mostly wind power.
Yeah.
The more blue the map is, more wind there is. So when designing a map, it can be handy to visualize how the wind will be, so that there are areas which are more convenient for the user to place his power, so that it will produce more electricity. So it's a minor thing, but it's very relevant when you play and you are limited on money. So
yeah, indeed. So especially you wanna have the best wind power, especially in the beginning.
Yes, when you start, you pretty much always start with that. So
yeah,
but you don't have to, but
yeah,
I always do.
yeah,
so,
yeah, it's cheap. But as you can see here, the wind is the strongest on the flat terrain and over large areas of water. So well, once you unlock the advanced wind turbine, you can actually take the move all of the wind power to on the water, so you don't need you can use the space for something else, and the noise pollution doesn't affect the people because it's on the water, if it's far enough, that is. And then what's next? The roads.
let's show the roads quickly and then go to the
Height map.
importing of height map,
Yes.
which is quite useful tool. There's actually not so much to say about the roads.
Well,
if you expand the chirper again, you can see on the checklist of requirements that you should have is that you need at least to have an incoming and an outgoing highway connections. So why they are important is without roads nobody gets to your city. So you need to have roads which connect the border of the map and go through at least your starting tiles, possibly more. A good map design should involve roads which cross tiles in many places. So when the user expands his map, he can make strategic choices on whether or not this road seems to be a good access for a new area of the city that is about to develop.
yes.
So roads are highways and highway ramps in the map editor. Those are the only ones available since they are just connections. You also have the full set of pre-made intersection that
Yes.
can be created in the asset editor. We provide 2 of them for the highway exist right now. So if you create intersections which only contains highway and highway ramps, they will automatically be available in the map editor. So it will save you a great deal of time to not have to make them manually every time.
Yes.
So Hanka can demonstrate here.
I'm gonna now create a road that is that works for the map, so that it's basically.
And you connect to the very edge of the map.
Yes. I'm gonna this here. You can see that it snaps.
Yeah, it snaps to the
like
side,
this.
yeah. And then you see the
see
little arrow which specifies in which direction the road is actually going. So we just got the outgoing connection. Now we still need to connect the incoming connection.
So look at my beautiful roads. Look at them. They're great. So we're gonna put here, going, and then here. So basically now we have a connection to the city already. So you can see here there's one incoming and one outgoing connection used.
You can have 4 at the maximum
Yes.
at this point, 4 which comes from completely different location and may or may not be connected together.
Yes, and of course you can have more than like 4 roads going on the map, you can still have like 60 highways that all crisscross
you
each
can
other.
connect
But
them all the way
yeah.
you want, but the ones directly connected to the outside of the map would be 4, since it's balanced to not bring too many people at the same time, nor have too little amount, so that it would take really long to build.
Yes.
So,
and now you can see that I have 2 incoming and 2 outgoing because I connected 2 more for one for both here. So now we would basically have a semi-working map, but we still would need the water.
We're still missing the water in the starting type to allow players to install water and sewage system, which is functional. But if we were to place water in the starting tile now, we would be pretty much done with this map, which is absolutely fantastic looking. And then you have the trains and the planes and the boats if you have water access.
Yes.
That you create exactly the same way. You place rail tracks, or you place invisible path for the planes to come in from a specific place, and for the boats to follow a certain area of the coast as well.
Yes.
And the only difference with those different transport type is roads are being one way. You need an incoming and outgoing connection. But the other type of transport are automatically both incoming and outgoing, so you don't have to make 2 connections for dealing with a single input-output kind of thing. So it's a little bit easier or faster because you don't have to make the road parallel the way you want and all that. But nothing prevents you to create multiple one of them as well.
Yes. So if I put this like here and have the water come here, then it will eventually create from the the required water connection for
requirements. Yes, so that you can actually play the map without getting everybody sick.
Yes. So now we can see that we have the water stream on the starting area, and we have the highway connection going in and going out. And these other are also recommended, but this is also that you can put them like the rail connection goes somewhere else. So when you actually have the railway station available later in the game, then you can basically unlock that.
You don't have to have it in the starting tile because you don't unlock it anyway, like too early in the game. So it's good to put it in one of the adjacent tiles to the starting one, so that when you unlock it, you suddenly have access to the rail tracks and the railway station at the same time.
Yes. So now we can see that it's actually flowing nicely here. So yeah, and then are we gonna next show the height map?
Yes, and let's show the wildlife spawner last. So we have a better looking map.
Yes, I'm gonna actually create a new map because we have the highways and it's faster this way. So now we have the empty map here, and we have a height map that we have created and then edited. You can edit in different image editing software. And the thing that you need to keep in mind is that it should be 16-bit PNG file.
It can be 8 bits, but it lacks precision, so you will get those wavy, Minecrafty looking maps, which are not very suited to build a city because the slopes are really big. So a 16-bit, a grayscale 16-bit component map is ideal format to use for those. You could use software such as World Machine to generate the topology at the first place and export a height map from it that you can directly import here. If you set the resolution to be 1081 by 1081.
Yes.
And if you don't respect this, the game will upscale or downscale your map, which will result in funny smoothing as well, which you may not want. So respecting the resolution is quite important.
Yes. So the importing of the height map is quite easy. There's the small folder icon here, which opens the the folder where the height map should be. So you can simply drag them from another place where you have saved them previously, and they will immediately show up in this list here. So you can just drag and drop. There is no installing or anything else. And then you can just select, so I'm going to select this one. And you can see that it immediately creates the terrain for us. And then we can start tweaking with the water streams and whatever we want here. Here. And it should start. And then we can select
the water level to speed up the process, since it makes sense.
Yes. So now we can have also the ship routes here drawn for the map, with the player, so that the player can use the harbors in the game. And eventually these will fill up and flow down into the ocean. And as you can see, the height maps are really good for getting a little bit more realistic mountains, and if you use the terrain editor software, like the what was it? World Machine, yeah.
And you can also export some of those from Google Maps and open source map software, which I don't remember the name, but there are several ways to extract them from real world data as well.
Yeah, and the only thing that really you need to keep in mind is that when you export the realistic height map data, you might need to smooth it out a bit on the playable area, just to make sure that it's like nice looking, and it's like you can easily build roads and bridges and stuff like that. So you might want to like a little bit like touch here and there on the map and smooth it out so it's like more playable. As you can see now, we have the water flowing here, and it's gonna be a bit like a. You can see here that it's flowing the wrong way until this one catches up from the left. So.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about earlier. So, but anyway, about the height map, so this is a very simple feature, but very powerful, and it doesn't go only one way. Now we just imported a pre-made map, but there is also a way to export a map. So if you do modification to the terrain using our smoothing tools, for example, like build a crazy hill or something, so it will be very easy to see. So we just lifted the terrain quite a bit there. If we go to the export feature, there will be a preview, and the white areas are the highest areas.
Yeah.
So if you save this map, you can import it in another software and keep polishing it with different tools until you're ready to import it and iterate that way. So you can work in parallel with another tool to get the results you want, and it's very handy.
And then I just remember to save it a different file name so that you won't save on the where you loaded it.
Yes, so that's a good advice.
And here you can also set all the precision, but if it's 16 bits, I'd say don't touch this.
Yeah, use 16 bits as much as you can. The 8-bit is supported because some softwares that you may have installed at home, image editing softwares, may not support the 16-bit format, so we didn't want to limit people who don't have softwares for that to not be able to do maps, but it will be much harder to achieve the quality you may have in mind.
Yes, and now we can see that it's here. If you want to load the map again, it's in the load height maps, and you can see it's also appeared on as the fourth map here in the same folder as the rest of the maps. So it's really handy that way.
Okay.
Should we now check the asset? Editor next.
We probably should show the asset as well.
But do we need to
let's quickly show how to take a snapshot?
Yes.
Because that's
I'm gonna
missing.
Load this one, which is a bit more polished looking map.
Yes, this is one of the map we have in the game.
Yes. And now we're ready. Wait,
Yeah.
10 seconds. Okay,
There we
so
go.
here we have, this is like a finalized map which has everything that it needs to have. You can see the checklist here, everything is as it should be.
So if you go
So
to the
we can go
map settings,
here.
you can set the starting tile to the map. So when you have designed your map, you can select a tile which varies the difficulty for the player. But what's important there, which is also same in the asset editor that we're gonna show soon, is the snapshot tool.
Yes.
So it's the second one in the list. You place the camera in the angle you want to have a pretty picture. And
put it like this, so we have the awesome mountains here.
For example,
Yes.
then you can take a shot here.
Okay, and boom. I
With
clicked,
left
click once, and it flashed a little bit.
Exactly, and you can move to another place and take another shot, like just so that we have multiple to choose from. And at the time, now you've taken a few shots, they become available for later use. So if you go to the save menu, at this point, you see we have 1 out of 3 shots available, and you can select which ones will be the preview, which is shown when you start a new game. And that's also the default image, which is used when you share the map on the workshop.
Yes.
So it's a convenient way to...
And you can also put an edited version of that image here.
Yes, if you click the little folder icon, like always, it will bring you to the folder where these snapshots are available. If you open one of those in Photoshop, for example, and write the text or change the colors or do whatever you want, save it, then the change will be immediately shown in the game. Yes. And that will be the new image used both for the preview and the workshop. So
we have like, okay, I'm going to select the first one, the second one, this one now. So then here's the file name, which is the most important thing, of course.
Yes, that's a file name on disk, so you can recognize it.
I'm gonna name it stream map. That's for my own knowledge here. And the map name is the one that you can see when you open a new game. You can see the awesome maps there. So this could be like River World. Ta-da, like this. And you can also check the
checklist from the checklist is visible here as well. And then there's a publish map option, which is important in the sense that when you're ready to put the map on the workshop, you first need to publish it in the new game panel so that it will appear into the list of new map available in a new game. If you don't publish it, you technically just save this to work on it later, so it still is saved, but it won't be playable yet. So you will not end up with a large list of maps which are not actually playable.
Yes.
So
that you won't have River World 1, River World 2, River World 2B, 2C, and so forth. So it's just to make the playable map list look clean and nice, basically.
Yes. That's exactly for that. And you cannot share a map on the workshop unless it's been published before.
Yes.
As well.
So I'm gonna publish this now because hooray! Achievement unlocked.
Good job.
Okay.
I
think that was it for the map editor.
Yeah, let's load the asset editor, and we'll answer a quick question that we got about a way to manually paint textures. So currently there is no way to manually paint a texture or set your own textures because of the way we render the terrain. The textures associated to the terrain are tied with the theme that you're currently using, both for visual fidelity to the theme and for preventing memory consumption to go out of control. So at the time being, unfortunately, you cannot set your own texture in a specific area. But you can use slope to kind of create little hills, which kind of look a little bit prettier from the distance, but it's quite limited at the time being. You cannot really customize layers of textures like you may be used to in some other editors. One of the big reasons why this was chosen is to prevent too much work required to create a base for a map, because the automatic texturing makes it a lot easier. So I hope that answers the question on the chat.
Okay, so into the asset editor now, I think.
Oh yeah, actually, one thing, we do have some textures that you can paint. We did not show it
yes,
earlier, but
yes.
in the environment section, there is one more little tool we didn't show because it's used exactly the same way than everything else. You can paint sound, and you can place a bunch of props, which would be the wildlife spawner. So when you place them in the map, you will have animals, wild animals, which will start spawning in the area and roam around the map. So,
yes. Well, actually, if we can show it quickly if we want, but I don't think we need to.
Let's show it later.
Okay,
let's move it to the asset editor.
Okay. So now we're gonna go here, and of course in the asset editor you can also choose which theme you want to use it to see it in different lighting conditions.
Yes, that's only about the lighting though. The asset you create are not tied to a theme. They will be available in all teams when you share them. But you need to select a theme so that you can select which building template you would work from, since buildings may be different between different maps.
Yes.
If you select the European map, for example, then you will be able to select European buildings as a template when editing the props.
Yes.
Which are not available in the template, for example.
Yes, but we're going to go with template now. And
because we do like our template.
Yes, exactly. The green forests and the lush waters and all that stuff. So
this is the asset importer stage as the asset editor. When you start it, you are given the choice between different kind of objects you are going to create. So intersection is what we talked about earlier. You can create a template of a road type which will be spawned onto your map. We could start showing this one quickly because that's one of the most useful one. According to the workshop asset, it's one of the most used tools.
So basically, people are creating a lot of like highway intersections using this tool for the different
roundabouts
things
like that.
Yes. So basically, you can draw and build the roads here in the same way as you do in the game. You have all the same tools here. Let's see. I'm gonna do this like super awesome. Yes. Yes, this is gonna be like the most awesome. And no laughing in the back row.
So you can elevate the road, and you actually can create tunnels as well.
Yes.
In this mod. And when you place this intersection in the game, it will respect the heights that you've set and adjust to the topology of the terrain as well as it can. So it makes it quite versatile and usable in different scenarios.
Yeah, except high.
But not when you do it like that.
Yeah, this children is not how you do these things. But anyway, I can do the other one, other intersection go like from here, so it's not gonna take the space. Let's see. I'm gonna put it here, and then I'm gonna do it like this. So now I have this super awesome, highway junction here. So and then I can save this one as well if I want.
Yeah, actually, before saving it, show the thumbnail.
Yes.
Was the snapshot. So the snapshot tool works the same way. You can take a picture that is the default when you share on the workshop. So it's convenient, so you don't have to print screen and draw it yourself. What is happening?
Is it, so yeah, I'm just checking the chat there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So left mouse click again is the snapshot tool command. So I'm gonna click on here, and then same old, and then we can go here, and you can see it's actually I clicked it 3 times because I clicked multiple times.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, but anyway, this is the This is the
workshop preview
workshop
image.
preview. Yes.
That's the only place you actually see it, because you don't use thumbnails into the game. These snapshots are not used into the game.
And of course, you can edit them as well as
yeah,
the
it
map.
works exactly like the map editor for all assets. However, what is different here is in the game, these assets are placeable and they will appear in the UI when you actually try to place a rod in the intersection area of the UI. So it has a tooltip image and a thumbnail icon, which are currently defaulted to a generic version of them. And so the thumbnail icon is a clickable button, like I was demonstrating.
Yes.
It does not do anything but preview the different state.
Yes.
And the tooltip image is a still image that is shown when you mouse over for a little bit, so it describes what the asset does.
Yes.
So same story than with everything else. You click the little folder icon, and you now have a bunch of images which represent the 5 different button states that can be created for the thumbnail. Which are the normal state, the disabled, focus, pressed, and hovered state. And then you have the tooltip image, which is also there, which does not have state because it's a still image.
And it's the one that shows above the description when you hover over the
yes, the
actual
mouse over
assets
action, the tooltip action. So
yes, and all these can be changed.
And you can change those the same way that you can change the preview images. Just open them, modify them, take a screenshot and copy paste it. Whatever you want to do there works. But one thing that is really important to consider here, we try to make your life a little bit easier by not requiring you to run filters to create the button states. So the button called asset thumb, which is a default state, that's the first one you should modify, because if you modify this one, it will automatically regenerate the 4 other states for the button. If you happen to modify, let's say, the press state and modify the normal state afterward, it will override the change you've done. So in the order, you should start from normal state, and if you want to override the other state, you should do it only afterward. Yes. And but then it will work as intended.
Yes,
and,
but if you want, you can only modify the first and the
yeah,
rest,
you don't have to
will,
use the other
yes,
ones because they will get generated for you.
Just and this one is also replaceable, I think. It is. I think it is replaceable if you want to have like text here.
You can replace it. You can just have a white background and you can just have some text if you want.
Yeah.
But that's not really, because we already have a description which is dedicated for that, so you probably don't want to.
But you could put like Henka's
yes,
awesome road and then have the image in the background or something like that if you want.
Yeah, you can have your artistic signature in there if you wish.
Yes.
Then I just saw a question on the chat, which is show us putting snapshots as thumbnail. So this is basically what we explained, but to do that you will need to open the snapshot that you have created by clicking the small folder. Take the snapshot you want to use, put it in a painting software,
yes,
Photoshop or whatever software you use, and mask it so that you would have an alpha channel, so that it wouldn't be the whole terrain on the background, and then replace the asset thumb from the thumbnail image that we were showing just before that.
Yeah.
And that would be it.
Yeah, you can basically you can do it so that you take the image from the snapshot, take it to image editing software, and then open the asset thumb also in there, and then you can basically just take it from the snapshot and squeeze it to the right size. It should work.
Yeah, you can resize it. 109 by 100 pixel is the default size for this. That's a recommended size as well, so that it will fit without being stretched. And that's pretty simple. You just need to have a little editing step in between there. You could actually do that with paintbrush if you wanted, but you will be limited in how to draw the alpha channel in it. But it's quite straightforward and takes a couple of minutes to get a pretty nice looking image.
Yes.
And of course you can also overpaint it and do whatever post-processing you want to the image to make it actually very, very pretty and appealing to click on in the menu.
Yes. Okay.
So, question for you, Hanka, before we get
yes,
to the
there's
assets.
the
Since
any,
we're still in the intersection.
any possibility in future to make bigger intersections. Uh, have we talked about this at any point? I don't remember if we have, but at least at the moment,
At
this
the
is
moment, there is no direct plan to
yeah.
do it.
At the moment, we're going with this.
Yes, at the time being, that's the plan. But that's something we will be discussing, and hopefully we'll be able to let you know in the near future what the plan about that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for now, this is the size that there is, and the maximum size for the turn lace was 109 by 100 pixel.
Yes.
Question asked on the chat. Thank
yes.
you for asking, by the way. good question.
Indeed.
But you made a very pretty intersection there. I'm proud of you once again. And I think we could go back to the
check other
new asset. Yeah, and
yes.
let's show. But I think showing parks will make sense now.
Yes.
Quickly, it's very similar to the roads because you can also place some roads in there. But essentially,
but basically, just select park
you
and
select
continue,
parks.
and we are here.
Yeah, so the two biggest differences, you can see the UI differs a little bit. First, you have a properties panel, which allows you to set gameplay related value to your asset, such as the size and the cost and the electricity consumption and whether it will flatten the terrain when you place it and all that. We don't need to go through these one by one because they are pretty self-explicit. You will play around with them when you open it.
Yes, and if you're unsure what kind of values you should put, you can always check the game and see what we have there and go with those or similar values.
Yes, when you import a building, it will put the default value to the ones we've set to that building in the game, so it's a good starting point. But for the parks, it just have default values, which is reasonable, which is what we use for default park in the game.
Yes, and in the parks, you can, like in the buildings, when you edit them and prop them, you can select the lot size here. If you put like city service buildings or make your own police station or something, you can increase the size to 16 by 8 or whichever is the biggest here. But with the zonable buildings, it's the biggest is the 4 by 4.
Yes, it's a bit smaller because they will squeeze themselves wherever they can during the game. So
basically, creating a park is very easy. You have different tools here. You have the terrain tools. You have well, advertisements are not exactly for the park, but these can be used for.
You can use them also for the parks. There are a bunch of advertisements which will fit anywhere.
We can put the. Cool. This is like an ice cream park, I think. So that's there now. So yeah, let's see. We can put the pedestrian paths can be drawn in the park. You can have different. Whoopsie daisy.
You created them really close from each other.
Oh yeah, that's true. So I'm gonna draw it here now because I didn't think. So yeah, you can put the pedestrian paths here. You can prop trees and other props just to make sure that you don't have because you have the 64 prop limit.
The assets. So the chirper is again responsible for letting you know when you're putting too many of them at the top of the screen. So now we got 8 props out of 64, and as you place your props, it's being counted so that it helps you to balance out how many props you want. And there are many props categories that you can see in the UI, and they all contain all kind of assets. We have a lot of them, and you can create a pretty large variety of objects with that, of parks at this point.
Yes.
And one tool which is a bit special in the park and asset editing is the surface tool. You showed it really quickly earlier, but let's have one more word about it. Is you can select cells to change the surface of the terrain, so that can allow you to fake a field or an area which is full of pavement, and stuff like that. So that is quite nice to create varieties in buildings depending what kind of type of buildings it is, if it's industrial or agricultural and so forth.
Yes.
So, and there is a special one which allows to clip the terrain. This is a little bit more difficult to use properly, but it's very powerful that you can actually create a geometry when you import your own model with a building, which actually goes below the terrain.
Yes.
So you can clip the terrain and create that concave buildings kind of thing. So you could make, I don't know, a mining site or stuff like that with that, which is very exciting.
I think I actually downloaded one of the mods that was like a sunken park, where the steps went down and the park was like 1.5 meters below ground, basically, and it was pretty nice looking park there. So, but anyway, you have like super lot amount of props here that you can use to. As you can see, my park is awesome.
It is pretty much as good as your intersections.
Yes. And
you should make more assets.
And we have the hang-around markers also.
Yeah, these are important ones to use because they are part of what makes building, or the park in this case, feel alive, because the hang-around marker will be attracting citizens to hang out, as the name says. And we have two variable size for those, a small and a larger one. So they are kind of point of interest for citizens to visit in the park particularly. The citizens will try to navigate using the paths you have placed as well, which is automated, so you don't have to start placing like nodes or any navigation stuff. However, there is the parking that I think could be shown there, which is actually a quite cool feature because it kind of becomes completely automated. It works, it's a marker just like the others, and you can see it with that blue parking outline. So there are invisible parking spots. We have a prop which is a visible one, so you can see the lines. But by placing parking spots like that, we can have a bunch of areas where people who go to work in that building will park in that area without being clearly designated area. So it's kind of nice because
it's more organic and
yeah, you can put them crooked and it looks a lot more like people park in the real world, and it's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, and usually and many times like in the front yard of the building there isn't actually like visible parking spots anyway. There's might be like some sort of like the heating poles or something like that, but that's it. That's about it. So you can use these and it's awesome.
Yep.
And here's the regular visible, so you can so both work the same way, basically.
Except one will be more organic when you actually look at the people parking.
Yes.
And then there are a few effects kind of things that you can have smoke. Well, these are probably not best fitted for parks.
I think the
but you could of course use
the vending machine is broken.
Yes, so you can make broken stuff with that. So, but those steam smoke are usually used for the factory buildings and power plants and so forth. But nothing prevents you to find a good use of those in a park as well.
Yes.
So
if you have like a grill or something.
Yes.
Well, it's maybe
barbecue gone wrong.
yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, it's a brilliant idea as always.
So there was some question about something I didn't. Is there? Let's see. Is there in the future would the players be able to set milestone unlocks for the assets that they are using? I don't think we have talked about that at the moment, but who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Yes, we may look into that. There is no clear plans for a newer update with that, but the idea is not bad at all, and we definitely will be looking into this in further meetings. How could we bring some more customization while still being in game?
Yeah.
But that's something which would require quite a bit of careful design so that it doesn't become too awkward and heavy task for people to do.
Yeah.
So we really need to discuss that smartly and see what we can do about it.
Yes.
But not for the near future, at least.
Okay.
So,
What do we have? Do we have next something else on the asset editor?
in the asset editor, well, there is again the snapshot, but now people should remember it works the
Yeah.
same way. Again, it's always the same deal. It works the same for every kind of asset. So creating the templates, because this is again a placeable building that you will see in the UI, it works exactly the same way. You create, you take a snapshot, you open the folders, you override them, and then you're set. So
Yeah.
yeah, no need to go through it again because it's very exactly the same. So
Indeed.
and I think what could be interesting now is to show building type. Because so far we started from empty space, but with
Yes.
building you can actually either import from a template. That's something new compared to the previous one.
Yes.
So this is a template selector that you can see on the screen. It shows all the sub-services the game provides and all the assets that are available in the sub-services. So if you want to customize a police headquarters, you would select it, for example, and you can see it in the preview, which would be the default for template. So at this point, if you click continue, you will get this asset in the map editor, and you will be making a police station.
Yes.
So now we decided not to import the default props. So this is just building with nothing else, and the size of the terrain match exactly the size of the lot match exactly the size of the building.
Yes.
Now you could expand it and place a bunch of props and pathways, and you could even build in a small park to make it nicer to look at by putting a bunch of trees. And well, actually, you're going a bit more pavement mode like. But
Yeah.
this,
Well, I can do this.
either way, in there you are really free to do it whichever way you want. There is no. It's mostly a visual impact to things. And the gameplay impact comes from the properties you will set in the properties
Yes.
on the right. So in this case, you could put like a ton of workers, and this building will actually get a lot more people going to work into, for example, and you could expand the amount of police vehicle available for the service coming from this building. So by default, it will be 25 for that building, but you can decrease it or increase it, and that will make the efficiency of the building dependent on the count you put here.
Yes.
So this allows to make it a lot more your own, because it doesn't have to be exactly like the built-in one. So
Yes.
this is not purely a visual customization or modification.
Yeah. So I have my awesome police station here.
Yeah, and you can put ads on them.
Ads, yes,
Yeah,
because our police station is ad funded.
Exactly.
And let's put you can either you can basically do anything. You can put like, I don't know, maybe this is like, maybe this police station is a bit different kind of police station. It has like a clown on top of it, and maybe this is it's a full police station. So anyway, do you have anything else to say about this?
I think we showed the main things. I think we should show the latest edition, which would be the vehicles.
Yes,
that's new and that's cool. But before we go, that props and trees are also available. But these are just import steps. There's really nothing you do with them, but import them so that they will be available when you prop another building.
Yes, they will appear in the props.
Yeah, they will then appear in the prop extension, and you will be able to place them into further buildings. But the vehicles is the latest addition we've had, and that's quite a funny one. So you can import your own model to it, as well as use the default model.
Yes.
So
let's go to the vehicles. And again, we have the different subcategories here.
So those vehicles will automatically be used when a building of a certain city service will try to spawn those. So when you create those, they will automatically be added to the pool of vehicles that can be used.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna use the ambulance now. I'm gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna go here, and now we have this awesome thing that we.
So you cannot prop a vehicle. As you can see, there are no options for it. However, you can set quite a bunch of properties to it, which are like its driving. It's driving properties.
Yes,
how fast can the vehicle go? And you can set a bunch of properties, whether or not it's going to be colored, like most of other buildings. But vehicles are quite a bit more visible in the game when you're actually spying on what's happening in the city. So getting the color variations, for example, is quite entertaining to look at. But the trailer is probably the most useful feature in there. So you could create trains and so on. You need to select the asset next. Now you said we're going to have 5 trailers.
5 trailers?
Yeah, and then you select the asset.
Ah, right, of course.
And then from there you have the possible trailers. And
I'm going to go with the oil trailer.
That just makes sense.
This is the most, and we have capacity for, let's say it's 100. we can stack them in there in the tubes.
Yeah, and then there's a trailer offset property there you could increase so that the trailer is placed to like 3.
Okay.
No, actually,
let's put it like
small point, something very small. Yes.
Like this. Yes. This looks about it.
Yeah.
So look at that. Look at that. You haven't seen this kind of ambulance before, have you? Now?
Yes. That's a good kind of ambulance. So yeah, you can now customize and import your own vehicles, and that's a cool little addition that we are still working to bring more customization to the game and make the asset editor allow you to add even more type of assets. At the time being, this is only supports, but there will be more.
Yes. So. And I think there's already like a ton of vehicle mods in the workshop.
Well, like every other assets that I've seen on the workshop, it turns that modders, both content creator as programmers who make programming mod, and artists who makes art mods, or even the ones who just modify the base asset to have new property. I have generally noticed the work they do is pretty damn amazing, and what is really surprising about it is it happens really, really fast. So right after the vehicle feature was patched in, it really took literally a couple of hours until we started to see some custom vehicle made, which all looked surprisingly nice given the time was actually really short. So props to you guys creating all these assets. We really appreciate that, and we are always amazed and excited to see what's new.
Indeed.
It has to be said out loud because it is pretty amazing if you ask me. So yeah, but that covers roughly the asset editor.
Yes.
At this point.
Yeah.
And
do we have anything like next?
Well,
on the line?
Let's say a quick word about the modding API, like just what it does.
Yes.
So in this stream, we are not going to be showing how to make a mod with a programming API because, well, first we don't have a Visual Studio available at the moment, and we will actually need considerable longer amount of time to really cover what matters.
Yes.
So this stream was mostly focused on the inside of the game. What can you do if you just have the game and pretty much no other tools. However, the modding is not limited to that. There is the ability to create programming mods which can be visual, but which also can affect the gameplay into the game. We provide an official modding API, which you can find on the Skyline wiki, Skylines. Skylines wiki.
Skylines, yeah, something like that.
I mean, the workshop has a direct link to the wiki, so you can find it there. And that API allows to modify the very basics of the game. And we also have modders who have imported the game internals and have modified those. And that's something that nowadays we actually encourage, because we've seen such awesome stuff being made. So we will continue expanding the API as time goes and as we make patches. But we don't really want to limit the modders to be constrained to only that API, because there's so much more that can be done if you bypass some of it. So in the latest patch, it is possible to automatically compile your source code against game code, which before that was not available. You had to kind of create a Visual Studio project and add the references by hand. So we're trying to make it easier for you to create the mods, and this is work in progress still. So while it's a work in progress, that doesn't mean you can't do anything with it yet. So I think I could actually show, we mentioned earlier the first person mod, and there have been millions of programming mod made.
Yes.
And we get a question very often, which is, which mods are your favorite when talking about the programming mod? And I don't know what's your answer for that, but mine is, so far I've liked pretty much all of them.
Yeah,
so I don't really have a favorite, that they are all pretty cool and do things that were highly unexpected. I think one of the most surprising I've seen was the flight simulator.
Oh yeah, that was
very unexpected for
and
me.
they had the
quite
helicopter also.
the helicopter, which also came around the same time, a little bit later, I think, if I recall right.
Yeah.
Both of those were really nice. And then there are mods which modified the game internals, such as the Traffic Plus Plus and the transport managers and those. So really cool mod in that sense. And one of the really nice things that people have done, and they have also hijacked parts of the rendering process. So they have added their own post-processing effect and the ability to upscale the image, so you can get better anti-aliasing, and you can get some sort of borderland-ish rendering, so you get that cel shaded outline kind of aspect. And it's very creative, and we really like pretty much all of them. So for those who were asking the question earlier, what are our favorite mods? I hope you are not disappointed by the answer. We do appreciate pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Except the ones which breaks everything. but these have been fixed usually very quickly by the content creators as well. So we don't have much to complain about.
Yeah.
So we're very happy with that as well.
Indeed. Yeah. We have the first person camera here already, and I think I loaded one of the save games also from the workshop.
Yeah, so it's really easy, and that would be the last thing to cover in this stream. Would be the content manager. Is very tied to the tools we've just seen. The content manager is where you can share and see what is your current subscription status for the Steam Workshop. So this tool is very handy to see where you're standing, and you can get a lot of assets and enable or disable them on demand, so that you don't have to completely wipe them out when you don't want to use them. You just have a checkbox on off, and if it's off, it is ignored by the game. If it's on, it is.
Yes, and you have direct link here to the workshop if you want to check out if there's like update news about the thing.
Yeah, and so this content manager panel has categories of the main customization type we support, and it has an extra group which is called the Steam Workshop. The Steam Workshop is a special group which only lists the current subscriptions. This is mostly done, and that's interesting to say. Thing to say. If somebody created a mod and you subscribe to it and he deleted it, your mod will still be subscribed, but it will not be possible to go and subscribe to it because it's not in the list anymore. So when you go to the Steam Workshop tab or category, when you see an entry here which is just a number, that usually means the asset was deleted and it is likely to cause problem with the game. So it is at that point recommended to click the cross and get rid of it that way.
Yes.
And the little magnifier icon, which is visible next to many assets, will take you directly to the workshop page of this asset, so you can follow up the commands and the updates and all the informations like this. And again, the content manager is a tool we are working on expanding, and it will provide easier accessibility in the future, including faster refreshing mods, so that
Yes.
when you actually register to a collection, there's currently some issues that it could freeze your game for a long amount of time while it tries to regenerate the list of assets available. So we are working on optimizing those so that the stores will not be as big as they are currently, so that when you get 100 assets in the same collection, it will not take minutes to actually process. So hopefully we get a big improvement already in the next patch, and we'll keep working on it until it gets as smooth as we can get it anyway. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much how we try to do things at work.
Indeed, indeed.
And for those of you who have started to play the game from day one, you may have noticed the content manager has been redesigned. The look has changed a lot, and that is done in preparation for the upcoming things which are for it. The search box at the top right was added lately. This is actually quite convenient if you go to which category do you have most assets right now?
I think it's the mods.
It might be the mod.
Yeah.
So in here, if you type the name of
so the flight simulator, I'm gonna go here and
yeah, you can directly search for something, or if you type the name of the content creator, the Steam ID, Ulysses, for example, you can actually see all the mods created by the same person.
Yeah.
So that can be handy to see. If you enable one, you want to enable 3 of them in this case, because people usually have some sort of intricate dependencies between mods they create. So this is one of the tools that was added that should make your life a little bit easier.
yes.
And we are adding the batch toggles and all that, so you will be getting those in the near future, hopefully. And so yeah, I hope we will be bringing you the performance update as soon as possible, and it will be very nice for everybody. I'm quite confident of that.
Yes.
And shall we just enable one or two mod and show
Yes. Let's
show one of our favorite map, which is from the very beginning. Actually, one of our favorite save games that some people
Yes.
may recognize, but if you
let's put
let's put something which is easy
which
to
is
spot
one,
the cam.
we have the Surely cam on, and let's put unlimited money from our own mods. Also,
yeah, okay, so now
because
we will be able to destroy this beautiful city into it. Actually, I won't be touching anything, but seeing how you made the intersection on the asset previously, you should be able to destroy a city very quickly. So I'm counting on your skills to show how it's done.
Okay, I'm gonna actually put the border at Skylines also,
That's a good
just to
idea.
see what happens. Okay, so we actually we actually downloaded Bella View from Kiss for Luck, one of the streamers on Twitch. So we are gonna check the map now and see what happens with our enabled mods.
Yeah, and that map actually was created pre-launch,
Yes.
if I recall right. So it's really nice to see it still standing there and being actually one of the most subscribed save game on the workshop, which is a well-deserved achievement, I believe, because it is still a pretty city. I still have not managed to make anything anywhere close to as nice looking and as well behaving on my own. So I have a huge respect for this map.
I have no idea. I didn't check the instructions for the Borderlands view, but we can check the first person cam
Yes.
and just go zoom in here and see what the people of Bella View are doing at the moment. So we can here see the people are going to.
Well, this is actually a very good example of what we were talking about earlier in the asset editor. This is a good display of what the hunger markers
Yes,
do. This is exactly
that's true. That's,
these people accumulated here hunger on because Asset is telling them this is a good place to do it, and so this is the kind of result you get when you customize your assets, and
yes,
that's also how we create our own assets in the game. So
exactly.
press F10. It's a default.
I think I need to probably check that one first. It's gonna do something.
I don't know. I'm just reading. Try pressing F10. It's a default key for border Skylines.
Let's see. It doesn't do anything. I might have actually changed it to something else. Aha! No.
No, that's
that
not
was something
helpful.
different. Oh, that took screenshot. We have technical difficulties here. I have no idea. I probably have actually changed the button for something else when I used it before, so I'm not exactly sure which one it might be. Can I see?
Was it visible from the option otherwise?
I'm not sure. This is a demo effect that you see here. I don't think I have it anywhere.
I mean, keep
Because
trying.
yeah, keep trying. What could it be? It's not one of these. I'm not gonna. Oh, I switched that different C here. So.
But you could also
yes.
show the sun shafts.
Ah, yes. I'm gonna.
For example, is that one is automatic? Is the border city? I did not use it myself either, so I don't actually know the rules for it.
I think I switched something,
pure,
but if
poor decision making on picking
yes,
which one to demo.
I probably had some some idea about that, but
I think the sun shaft you had, I saw it there.
Yeah,
and that's one I think has looked actually pretty nice.
Yes, actually, I unsubscribe and resubscribe. Would that like?
It may not because it will keep the configuration files.
Yes,
for,
so I need to actually hunt them down.
Yeah, just let's try
see with the sun shaft
what we can get. So. Actually, it could be the F10 is the right key, but the streaming software is somehow.
Yes, that might be might actually be the default keys left bracket.
The left bracket is us, but you have disabled it now.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure you have turned it off.
Do I have the sun shafts here? I'm not sure.
Did you? But there was also.
Did I enable them? See, this is what happens when we. I might actually need to check with a map that has more direct sunlight.
F8. For this one.
Oh right. Okay.
So it is already good, but now it's because the skybox is really bright, so the.
Oh, well, look at that! Now we're going back to the future with this one. Boom.
So yeah, these ones actually the ones which add extra configurations are very exciting because they were created with one idea in mind, but they usually turn out to be a little bit more creative. So what Hanka just did there could really help to customize your game to look something completely different by combining a few of these assets. So, but the left bracket, by the way, should probably work because I'm pretty sure you have turned it off.
Yeah, but I can actually see it probably from here. Just a small second. It's like super fast.
But in the meanwhile, while Hanka is debugging his computer, a quick flashback about what we were discussing earlier. I just noticed there was some question about citizens and animations to be able to import them in the asset editor and to customize them. So as mentioned earlier, this is something we are planning to do at some point. I don't have an ETA yet, but this is one of the assets which is inherent to the game, and we would really like to allow it for our users. There it is.
There it is. I
So-
had put it on the end key.
So just to answer the question before
Yes.
we get back to the problem at hand, which is now a solution, we will be adding support for animations and citizens at some point. This is something we are still working on, how to organize it so that it scales with the other things we are currently adding.
Yes.
So, but we do keep a close eye on everything we can expose for you, including more properties as well to tweak. So, but
Yes.
yeah, back to the border skyline, which is
Let's see what happens when I
now
do
working.
stuff. It's different. Here is the hotkey configuration that I messed up before. But oh yes, this is the one that was awesome. This is like the Far Cry Blood Dragon thing. Oh, and this is awesome. I just don't remember where I can actually do all that. Stock preset. Oh yes. Let's see. Which one it was? I don't remember. It's so. Let's see. Whoa. Let's make something. I have no idea what I'm doing now. So this is of course.
There are a lot of different filters you can apply to it.
Yes.
So,
whoa. All right. Yes. This was it. This is nice. And then we would put it like this. Oh yeah. Check that out. Now this is what I call.
pink is exactly
Yes.
your color. Well, it's more like purple. I'm no artist, so I can't really tell what color is what, but it does look very appealing.
Oh, wait, what happened?
That's what it does.
That's. Oh, check this out. I'm gonna just a little bit more. What? This is nice. Look at that.
So yeah, this is a preview of what you can do with mods. One of the mod I have seen, I have not actually had the chance to try the latest versions lately, but apparently there is a way to also override our UI and have a completely reskin UI, which is with that Sapphire mod. This looks
yes.
extremely interesting. It's pretty cool. People actually are willing to go all the way to make their own UI because there are a lot of images in there. So this is one of the mods that I think is really cool, and you can check it out on the workshop. They are fairly popular, so you can easily find those in the sub-rated lists.
So I'm gonna take one screenshot for that.
For the one.
Yes. I think this is.
So
This is great.
yes.
So okay.
Oh, you just talked about screenshot. Let's mention one last thing. When you have from the content manager, there is a share button that when you click it, it allows you to upload the asset you selected to the workshop. So it will create a new page. Upload automatically the preview image you had used with the snapshot. If you did not take one, it will put a default blueprint image for it. But once you've done that, it will pop the workshop page associated to your asset. That's a Steam overlay and Steam website for the workshop. What's really interesting there is you can add a ton of screenshots, videos, or whatever material which will make your asset look like what it looks in the game and make it appealing to subscribe to. The game, Steam provides the shortcut with, I think the default should be F10. I don't know if you have rewinding it. It might be
It might be something.
F11 or
yeah.
one of the F key for the Steam screenshot. It's quite convenient because you usually take a screenshot and it's already available to actually add to your asset because that shot is already on your cloud. However, it could be that the screenshots you want to modify them to actually make them more of your own. You may want to add a trademark, you may want to do something to it. So the game do provide a built-in way to take screenshots, which will be the F12 key by default that you can access in the option remapping, key remapping panel. You can probably see it from it's a shared, it's at the bottom of the shared list. Yeah, the screenshot. But what's interesting about it is the high resolution screenshot, because F12 will just create a screenshot in your screenshot user folder, which is where your save and maps and everything are. They create the same image that Steam would take, but the Shift F12, which is a high resolution screenshot, that's something that you cannot achieve with Steam, which will render your image 4 times the resolution you're currently running. So that allows you to make like marketing quality kind of image, so you can really add a lot of details and downscale according to what you need. And that's a pretty handy shortcut to use if you want to add very high quality images to your workshop assets after you've shipped them.
Yes.
So yeah, just wanted to pop that out because, like I said, screenshot and my brain made some connections there. So
okay,
and that's.
I think that's
about it.
That's about it for us today, and we thank you for joining us on this stream, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. And
yeah, I hope you learned something out of it. We tried to cover the basics and a few little more advanced things. A bunch of tips, I hope, especially regarding the water in the map editor. I'm really hopeful this helps you guys out a lot. And I mean, look at the time. We've only been an hour over time, so it's going pretty well.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
yeah. But yes, thank you very much for watching this stream, and see you soon.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. See you soon, guys. Until next time.
See you.
And happy gaming.
Happy gaming, indeed.